We recently launched a 15-minute special segment called Tammy's Take that deals with politics and pop culture.
That's me.
That's you.
Tammy. Yeah. In one recent episode, I spoke with Metro CEO Phil Washington about Measure M, a half-cent tax on the November ballot, and a few other things. And here's what he had to say. Hello, everyone. It's time for Tammy's Take here on the Crown City Network. Tammy's Take is the crossroads of politics and pop culture. I'm Tammy Devine. This is my take. Take it or leave it. I hope you'll take it to heart. What's going on with public transportation in SoCal? First, Metro's Measure M on the November ballot, a half-cent tax to fund transportation. It's been endorsed by a number of groups, but it also has its detractors. Here also is what we'll cover on that. How much will Measure M cost you? Also, there's a number of light rail extensions taking place in the Southern California area. One is close to us, the Foothill Gold Line extension. What's next for that? And finally, the high-speed rail project of Governor Jerry Brown. It's going to be expensive. Who's paying for it? And will it ever actually finish? With me to talk all this over is CEO of the LA County Metropolitan Transit Authority, commonly known as Metro, Phil Washington. Thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.
Okay, good. Let's get started on this high-speed rail. We'll start with that first. The connection between Los Angeles and San Francisco, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, apparently work has started on the project. Where is the funding coming from? How is that all working?
Well, the funding is coming from multiple sources, state, federal, there's some private sector or public-private partnership financing coming into that project. Our involvement here in Southern California is to retrofit Union Station to accommodate high-speed rail. That alone, that retrofitting alone of Union Station is upwards of $1 billion.
Wow.
And what we're talking about here is, in some cases, raising the interstate, creating more track capacity for high-speed rail to come in. But that is our involvement, and high-speed rail is to pay for those accommodations in Union Station. So lots and lots of work involved with that. Much of the work has been started in Northern California. But we expect some funds down here in Southern California to help with that retrofit.
How many funds are in place and how much do we have left to go? Because I understand it's going to be, I think right now we're at 68 billion, I understand is where, but that has been a doubling of the initial amount. So can you see why some people might be like,
absolutely,
this is scary?
Well, absolutely. Again, our involvement, we do not manage that project. We are a partner in it. Our partnership consists of that Union Station retrofit. So we meet with High Speed Rail on a regular basis. I meet with the CEO of High Speed Rail probably on a monthly basis, and we talk about how that funding is going to be coming down to us to do the retrofit of Union Station.
Like, oh, don't worry, it's going to be fine. We're going to get the money.
No, they have transferred a good amount of money to us already to do some right-of-way acquisitions and things that we need. About $15 million so far, but we need a lot more than that to retrofit. Absolutely, we need a lot more than that.
Okay, some are calling it a boondoggle. There's even a website that says high speed rail, hsrboondoggle.com, I think, something like that. Just because I think this whole thing has been going on for a long time. The costs seem to be ballooning. Some people think it's gonna end up being like 100 and almost 20 billion by the time it's done. Do you don't see it that way?
Well,
as the boondoggle?
Well, I think we need high-speed rail in this country. If you go to other parts of the world, you see high-speed rail. You see high-speed rail in Europe. You see high-speed rail in Asia.
I was just in Oslo, Norway.
Absolutely.
Really
so
great.
we need high-speed rail in this country. It's a matter of funding. It's a matter of keeping the cost under control. But I'm a big fan of high-speed rail. We need it in this country, whether it's here in California. Texas is doing some things as well.
Is there a completion date?
I don't know the completion date as of right now, but I do know.
The big partner in it, Metro.
Well, again, our involvement is at Union Station retrofit, and we look to do that.
Was that one of the things that attracted you to coming here? Because you're still relatively new. You're about 2 years in, I
Yes,
think,
about 18 months.
from Denver, right?
I actually retired from the military, and that was my last duty station. But yeah, we did some great things in Denver. We built a number of rail lines and transportation infrastructure, and I'm happy to be here. Yeah, high-speed rail was one of the attractions, if you will, along with the infrastructure that we're building at Metro.
Okay, all right. So let's continue on then. I do want to talk about let's see, what was next? The Foothill Gold Line extension and other extensions that you're working on. There's a few, right?
We are. This year we opened up 2 rail lines, the Foothill Gold Line extension to Azusa. We opened up that project on time, on budget.
I've been on that, and I actually talked to you when that first day. When it opened, I think it was in March.
Right.
And it was a great ride. I mean, it was perfect. It was really nice.
Yeah, it's really working out very, very well. The
ridership,
ridership has exceeded all of our expectations. We're putting more rail cars out there right now. So we're very, very excited about the Gold Line extension and want to do more.
Okay. What other lines are you working on?
Well, we also opened up the Expo line to Santa Monica. We opened that up in May of this year. Again, ridership is exceeding expectations. We're putting more cars on that line as well. And then we have 3 additional lines, rail lines under construction right now. The Crenshaw line in South LA is over halfway complete. We have the regional connector downtown. We're relatively early on into construction, about 20% or so. And then we have what we call the Purple Line that goes out west eventually to UCLA.
Okay, all right. How are those looking? I think, some of the complaints, there's always going to be complaints
Sure.
of whatever you do, no matter what. There's going to be some issues. I think with the Gold Line, neighbors are concerned. There's Caltrans issues with the houses and, close by and the selling of those houses. There's all kinds of issues going on there. How do you navigate that? And what are the complaints you get and how do you handle them?
Well, you navigate that very carefully, first of all. No, we've had some complaints, but we handle all of those. I think the complaints have been fairly minimal, actually. We understand that there's construction impacts when we go out and do construction in various communities. We've created on the Crenshaw line a business interruption fund, understanding that some businesses are impacted, and so we have that fund. And so we handle those issues, those community issues, I think, very, very well. But things are going very well on the Gold Line and the Expo line, and also on the construction that we're doing.
Okay, all right. Any news to tell us on any of those fronts? Like anything new that we don't know about these projects?
No, I mean, we don't want anything
You're not
new.
gonna break any news?
Well,
come on.
well, I mean, only that those projects are going very, very well. We expect all of them to finish on time and on budget, and we expect all of them to exceed ridership projections. When we talk about the regional connector that is downtown, it's really going to be a game changer because people will be able to go all the way from Azusa right now all the way down to Long Beach with a 1-seat ride. So that regional connector downtown will facilitate that. So no surprises. We don't like surprises. And so everything is going pretty well.
How do small businesses get in on that?
Our small business participation on all of our projects is incredible. We're exceeding all goals right now, small business and minority and women-owned and veteran-owned business goals. We're exceeding all of those projections. We're also looking to partner with community colleges to help young people get into the transportation infrastructure disciplines. So things are working out. Is it all the way you hoped it would be, or are you getting complaints? Are you getting people coming downtown saying, "What's going on, Mr. Washington?" Any of that? Well, we have things like that, but the question is, do we take care of it and do we handle it? And we do. We handle all of the issues that we've had. We've not had many of them actually, but I'm enjoying the tenure so far.
Okay. Let's move on to Measure M. It's meant to jumpstart transportation projects. It's going to be on the November ballot. But we the people are paying for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Taxpayers. Half-cent tax.
Yes.
What is that going to do exactly? Is it going to increase the current sales tax that we have? A half cent, is that what it is?
Right. So what we're talking about is a half-cent sales tax starting if successful in November.
Because what are we at right now? Like 9%?
About 9%.
So
some cities are different. Some cities are different.
Okay.
And
So it'll go up to about 9.5.
Not nine and a quarter, 9.5 in some cities. Yes.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is building out rail all over the county, increasing the bus service all over the county. We're talking about keeping fares affordable for seniors, students, the disabled. There is a local return component. This local return component provides funding back to the 88 cities in the county for them to do their own local streets and pothole improvements. There is what we call a state of good repair carve out. The state of good repair says that you can't build all this infrastructure without taking care of it. And so there is a carve out in this measure to take care of what we built, maintenance and also operations. So this is the most comprehensive measure in the country. What it amounts to is about $25 a year for the average citizen in terms of spending. And so we think it's a good investment. 465,000 jobs will be created over the 40-year period, the first 40-year period, and about $80 billion will be injected back into the local economy. So we think it's a good investment.
So California, already the, sorry, trying to deal with a few technical issues, but California already probably the highest taxing state in the country, if it's not the highest, it's one of. Already got a very high sales tax. It's still money coming out of people's pockets. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the Harvard Jarvis Tax Association's probably against it, and probably a lot of people have to stop and say, wait a minute, we're already getting taxed out the wazoo for so many things, groceries and things like that. Is this really going to be worth it to take money out of my pocket to put into this? We already know that there are businesses leaving California, a lot of big businesses leaving California because of how high the tax rate is and things like that. We're, often in debt. I don't know what our debt situation is right now. I think at one point we've been $1 billion or $2 billion short. So how do you talk to taxpayers and tell them you got to do this?
Well, I think it's a matter of how do we want to live. We see congestion all over the highway system. It's incredible. You can't go out. There's bottlenecks everywhere. The question is, how do we want to live? We have 2.3 million more people coming to Los Angeles County. And do we want to be eaten alive by congestion, or do we want to fix it? Do we want to create more mobility options around the county? Mobility options being rail, more bus service, all of those kinds of things. The piece that I mentioned earlier about local return, giving money back to the 88 cities, is huge. The streets, the potholes in communities right here where we are, the cities get money back to do that work. So how do we want to live? I mean, one pothole will set you back, if you hit a pothole with your car, will set you back $300-400. What we're talking about here is $25 a year. So we look at this.
That's how it always starts, though. We've seen it with the high-speed rail, though, right, Phil? I mean, that's how it always starts. It'll just be $25 out of your pocket. Later on down the road, maybe $50. And then the next year, let's put another ballot on the measure, raise it up a little bit more because we need more. I mean, we've seen this over and over again.
Well, we have the proof and the results. The goal line is a result of Measure R, a sales tax increase that back in 2008. This is tangible infrastructure, it's physical infrastructure that people can actually get on. We finished all those projects on time, on budget. That is the result of the investment of people that have invested in this transportation infrastructure that we so need.
Final word about Metro, any meetings, events coming up that you need people to know about?
There's a number of things coming up. We have Measure M, obviously, on November 8th. We have a tunnel boring breakthrough at Lamert Park on the Crenshaw line, where this massive tunnel boring machine is going through the earth, drilling. Tunnel boring. It's
topic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And even with the 710 and all of that, we'll have to bring you back, talk more
absolutely.
about all
Lots of stuff going on, though.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for being
Sure.
with me.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. That's it for Tami's Take here on the Crown City Network. Tami's Take, the crossroads of politics and pop culture. What you heard Phil Washington say today, that was his take. What I said, that was my take. Take it or leave it. I hope you'll take it to heart. Watch us online at crowncitynews.com. And don't forget to catch CCN Sunrise on KVMD Saturdays 6 a.m. and Sundays 5 a.m. Also visit us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time.
Speaking of the election and polls and all of that, up next, I don't know if all California Republicans are on the Trump train, but the treasurer of LA County Republican Party is.
Yes, he is. John Goya joins us next.